The wide field of view lenses for Pimax Crystal are finally here. Recently I received the pre-production samples, and today, after a week of testing, I will give you my test results, impressions and thoughts on how high-end virtual reality can further be enhanced by a wider field of view. Hi everyone and welcome back, it's Martin from Pimax. The beauty of being a Pimax user is that your headset is constantly getting better. The frequently released OTA or over-the-air updates are meant to improve the experience, to fix potential bugs and issues, while also adding new features. In fact, many of these features has been requested by the consumers themselves. For instance, not long ago, a 72Hz option was added into the Pimax Crystal in addition to the existing 90 and 120Hz modes already available. This was requested by the community and turned out to be a godsend feature for VR flight simulator fans. Meanwhile, the modularity of the Pimax Crystal also allows for some new and exciting accessories. We have a new adjustable strap coming, which I covered in a previous video by the way. This new accessory can greatly improve the wearing comfort and weight balance of your Pimax Crystal, and it's now available to order from the Pimax store. The latest addition to the lineup, and maybe the most awaited one, is a new set of aspheric glass lenses that are custom designed and developed to further increase the maximum achievable field of view of Crystal without compromising the image quality. But why, you may ask? Well, we all know that Pimax is and always has been a big fan of wide field of view in virtual reality. With the previous generation of Pimax headsets such as the 8KX reached ultra-wide field of view levels. Innovating and breaking the limits of what's physically possible is kind of what Pimax is known for as a brand. Having said that, with the latest flagship headset being released, the Pimax Crystal, a transition had to be made from the plastic Fresnel lenses to the aspheric glass lenses for many obvious reasons. Not only are the glass lenses sharper, but they provide a much bigger sweet spot. They also have edge-to-edge clarity, no distortions, they are scratch-free and completely free from glare and God rays. This, combined with the higher than 4K resolution displays, has made Crystal the VR headset with the highest possible image quality. The optical properties of these unique glass lenses allow for amazing sharpness and clarity, but one compromise had to be made, and that was the field of view. The Pimax Crystal is currently bundled with the 35 ppd aspheric glass lenses, in other words lenses that introduces an optical pixel density or a pixel per degree value of 35. Today, this is market leading among VR headsets for home consumers. Using the included 35 ppd lenses, the horizontal field of view of Crystal is usually somewhere in between 100 and 104 degrees horizontally. On the vertical plane, the field of view is often around 98 to 100 degrees. The reported field of view numbers from Crystal users around the world may vary a bit because of multiple factors. First off, the procedure to determine the exact field of view is difficult, even if there are a few third-party tools made for that, such as the payware utility Test HMD or the older Real-O Virtual Test application available to download for free among other Steam VR home environments. Secondly, the field of view can differ depending on the IPD value set, or the interpupillary distance, which is the distance between the center points of your eyes. Other personal factors such as face shape, eye position or eye depth must also be considered and can lead to variations in field of view between individuals. So if I tell you that my field of view with the Pimax Crystals bundled 35 ppd lenses is measured to be 100 degrees horizontally and roughly 98 degrees vertically, you could use it as a guideline, but not as a statement or an official specification. Now, around 100 degrees field of view horizontally is still wider than the average VR headset can offer you today, and I agree it's fully enough to immerse you in the VR world. But what if you could extend that field of view with additional 10 or so degrees horizontally? Well, that's what the new wide field of view lenses were made for. According to my measurements with the Test HMD application, while my vertical field of view stays the same, the new lenses allow me for 112 degrees field of view on the horizontal plane, which is exactly 12 degrees more. It may not sound a lot, but trust me, it's very noticeable while in VR. In fact, it makes Pimax Crystal wider than the Valve Index, Quest 3 and Vario Aero. While flying in VR flight simulators, racing in racing simulators, or maybe just playing some random VR game, a wider field of view will always help to immerse you, even with small field of view increments. It will enhance your awareness in fast-pacing games as well as increase the sense of speed, especially in flying and racing games, because more of the peripheral view is seen. A wider field of view is always better, and those 12 or so extra degrees of field of view with the new crystal lenses can make a significant improvement to your overall VR experience. Obviously, when using these lenses, the VR view is not just horizontally stretched by the optics, which of course would look terribly distorted and bad. The rendered image in the headset is in fact automatically adapted and adjusted in the rendering pipeline. This is matching the new lenses by rendering a wider field of view onto the panels. Also, a different distortion profile was specifically made for this type of lens. But how is that even possible, you may ask? As I said lastly in my previous video when I went deep into the Pimax Crystal optics, each lens module has a few physical connectors on the lens frame which it communicates through with the headset. This means that when you switch the lenses from the 35 ppd to the new wide field of view lenses, the Pimax software will instantly detect what kind of lenses are attached and thereby apply a specific distortion profile matching the optical properties. This ensures that you see an image with no distortions and no other optical flaws, but with a wider field of view. The wide field of view lenses add no further distortions or any other optical flaws. The optical properties are exactly the same as with the 35 ppd lenses, with perfect clarity, same brightness levels, an image free of God rays or glare in high contrast scenes, as well as minimal chromatic aberration. Please bear in mind that some of the through the lens clips in this video were captured with a 1080p action camera, mainly to frame an ultra wide angle through the lens. The image quality of these recordings does not really make crystal extreme clarity any justice, but at least it gives you an idea of what to expect in terms of field of view increase. I assume any technical person out there, maybe you, may wonder right now if the wide field of view lenses do impact or somehow change the amount of pixel density or the value of the pixel per degree. Well, it should, I guess, to some extent. We haven't got any official statement from the engineers on the PPD achieved with the wide field of view lenses, but since the pixel density is so high to begin with at 35 ppd using the standard lenses, I must say I cannot really tell any difference in terms of clarity or sharpness switching to the new wide field of view lenses. The screen door effect is still non-existing to me, and the image just feels just as crisp and pixel-free as with the standard lenses. And I guess you may wonder about Tobii eye tracking functionality, the automatic IPD adjustment, automatic head position guidance, and of course dynamic foveated rendering, which are some of the key features built into the Pimax Crystal. Well, yes, all of these features worked fine using the new wide field of view lenses, just like before. The new set of lenses comes in a nice Pimax box securely padded, making sure nothing goes wrong with the glass elements during shipment. Oh, and I almost forgot. The procedure of switching the lenses is basically a 3-minute effort, simply because it's a unique feature of Pimax. Take off the face gasket, unscrew the tiny screw of each lens frame and gently pull out the lens. Now put in the new lens and tighten the screw again. Then finally put back the gasket and you're ready to go, and of course the headset will automatically handle the rest for you. For users wearing prescription glasses, it's highly recommended to use the 15mm face foam together with those wide field of view lenses. This is because of the new lenses and its frames being a bit thicker and causing a slightly shorter distance between the lenses and your eyes. Although the default 11mm face foam might work as well, the 15mm face foam will make sure you get additional space in between for prescription glasses, making it a safer bet, I think. So, the most crystal clear headset that Pimax has ever produced now also allows for a wider field of view. And who knows what's next to come from the creative engineering team that never stops innovating. As of today, there is no official release date or price announced for the wide field of view lenses, but I guess we will know that very soon. In fact, some VR YouTubers have already tried out and reviewed the pre-production samples of the wide field of view lenses, such as MRTV and Flight Sim Guy. So go check these out if you still haven't. I hope that you are now just as excited as I am by these wide field of view lenses. Thank you everyone for watching. See you in the next episode.